These minutes were already approved at the 6/26 board meeting.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other amendments?
Mr. President, I'd like to amend the agenda also, to move 6D to 6A, due to the fact that I have architect here tonight, I don't think he wants to listen about the pool policy.
Okay. Can we get a second for the amendments?
Second.
All in favor of the amended agenda? It's unanimous. Item number 2, announcements. Are there any announcements anyone wants to make?
I can make one, just reminding everybody that the ballot fair is coming up. And in case you didn't know, there is going to be a dunk tank. We have some interesting people that are going to be dunked. And if you have any favorites that you would like to see go underwater, if you'd like to put the ball and send them down, like send the names in, and we'll see if we can't convince them.
What day is it, Carolyn?
The 26th. I'm happy to nominate you for the dunk tank.
AJ?
I'm not.
I thought you were talking to me or AJ.
I'm talking to both of you.
Oh, great.
You volunteering for the dunk tank?
No, I have an announcement also.
Go ahead, Ray.
So there is, Glen Haven is our neighbors up the street there, and I'm involved in Friends. And Friends is sponsoring a jazz concert on this next Saturday, on the 19th. It's 5 o'clock, it's free. And after that concert, there's another concert, it's called After Party. Then they're having another band. So it's a 2-band night for free, it's right up the street, and there is, for the first time ever, they're gonna have a keg in Glen Haven. Alcohol, for the first time ever.
How did you find
I didn't do it,
Where do we get the information on it?
There are some gates, there's some signs on the gates, I know this one in gate 1, so I think there are
I
some.
didn't know where to put it. I don't know, pushing something happening in the neighborhood, but I'll send it out to you guys so you guys got it. It's free. It's amazing.
Excellent.
And these are quality musicians.
Excellent.
These it costs like $3,000. These are big time guys.
Nice.
Any other announcements? No. Okay, all right, hearing none, we'll move on to property owner comments. We have 15 minutes total, 3 minutes per property owner. Step up, say your name, address,
Joe O'Keefe, Grandview Lane.
phone number. No, I'm just kidding.
I took the liberty of sending you all about 2 o'clock today, the HOA permit. If you haven't read it, and you're all board members, it's basically the history of common interest developments and how they get manipulated over time, and everybody gets played, the homeowners get purged out of it. Read it for yourself. You owe it to yourself, and you owe it to the community to read it. Over time, there's really 3 Achilles heels in the process here. And the main thing that happens is people get apathetic over time, they just check out, they don't want to deal with this stuff. And as a consequence, you only really have one other person here at this meeting, nobody shows up. It's also easy to manipulate a board through a committee, like the Long Range Planning Committee. I spoke at their thing. I have real concerns about the seismic liquefaction that occur here, even in a small earthquake. And right off the top, I urge you to not allow this building to go in, tear down barn 6. You can shore up this one, but nobody's gonna wanna be here if this happens. There were several things that were covered in the Long Range Planning Committee that have happened before. But the third thing is you lose the institutional memory over time. Board after board after board, they come, they go, people get purged, and then nobody knows what's happening. We have had this proposal multiple times for solar panels in the airstrip. I know a guy, he's no longer with us, who both landed and took off on an airstrip. And in a real big problem here, everybody practices every other year or so to have seaplanes come in, land at the beach down there, you know, we're gonna take people out. It's not gonna happen, it's gonna be a mess. 1983, there was a slide, not seismically caused, across the lake, and there was a raft of debris that blew up and down the lake for 2.5 years. We get anything serious happen here, what do you think's gonna happen? You put up rebar and brackets and a whole bunch of solar panels on the airport, you know, you can get a Hercules, a C-130 in there. They only need 150 feet to take off with jail assist. And if everything collapses like I think it's eventually going to happen here, and this all turns into the Sun Valley equivalent of land of flies, we're going to need help. We're going to have stuff come in and carve out our wounded, and they're not going to be able to do it in tiny seaplanes. That's our only shot. So you forget these things. You're planning on building a building here or whatever, everything that comes in here has to go across the damn dam. And time after time, boards make the wrong decisions. We had the adult center over there, which basically was the most flexible building. We had so many meetings there, then it got dedicated to the library. It should have been out by the road over there, maybe where the golf building is, so people could get off the bus, go to the library and come out. We did a study. Over the course of a year, you got 74,000 cars that have to come in and out to take people to the damn library. How much oil gets dropped? How much of a steward of the watershed are we when we do this stuff? You know, it doesn't make any sense. So it behooves you, I don't think the WCUIA or whatever the acronym is for that thing forces anybody to build a building in a seismically active area that ultimately could kill people when it collapses. And it's on you if you build it. I don't think you should. All due respect to the architect here, and then, you know, it's like it's their architecture, I don't need to know it, my time is up, I'm sure. So, good luck to us all.
And you sent that to the board today?
What's that?
You sent that to the board today?
Yeah, around 2 o'clock or something, I just sent it to the board on Sun Valley.
Mine was, you were happy to know I've gotten chapter 3.
You know what, go to the end. Go to the end and work it backwards. You'll be amazed at what's in there, and you're all gonna learn a bunch of stuff. And the history of Sun Valley is out there. If you really do not goes on here, you'd be surprised as hell. Good luck to us all. Have a good year.
It's really fun, but I couldn't hear it, so you really.
Thanks. Good luck. Thank you.
Any other property owner comments tonight? All right, hearing none, we'll move on. Item number 4 is the revised consent agenda. So we only have on there the B, approval of meeting minutes for June 26, 2025. It's page number 6 in your packet.
I'd like to make a motion unless there are any changes or edits that need to be done to approve those set of board minutes from June 26, 2025 as submitted.
You get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tommy. All in favor? That's unanimous. All right, moving on to item number 5. We have a report. We'll start out Michael's GM report tonight. Page 9.
Thank you, Mr. President, and esteemed board members. June arrived with that Pacific Northwest charm that I referred to in the article. Mild mornings, warm afternoons, spring drizzle, giving away the dry and sunny stretches. We talked about the rainfall today, 22.4 inches drier than the same period last year, 30.84 inches. Had a homeowner, Mr. Bench, who commented that his weather station at his house had different rainfall readings. So I referred him to Greg Wadden because Greg's numbers come, of course, from the golf course weather station, which is how the irrigation system gets its data. So anyway, he was happy to hear that. Valley Fair is coming up. I know Tiny had mentioned that. We have one more planning meeting, I think, as well, Tiny, and I think it's going to be excellent adventure. I'm really looking forward to it. The rec department, they have the planning in place for the 5K. I don't know, I have never run a 5K. I'm lucky to run to the kitchen. Anybody who is interested in that, I think it'll be a great event. So the Valley Sports Camp, the Y swimming lessons, the daily popcorn, I've been getting a lot of nice comments from people. Of course, the marina and the beaches are starting to get hit their stride. And today, as most of the board knows, our Eagle Scout Jack, they dedicated his donated life preserver PFD kiosk, and it's just amazing. It was quite a project and quite an ambitious young man. So the notable items coming up, I think I did discuss. Golf department has successfully onboarded Danielle Bailey. If you haven't met Danielle yet, go by, she's super personable. And I heard she can hit a golf ball, so keep your wallet and all play with her, right? Kevin's prepared for the junior golf camp, and he already scheduled. He has planning coming here for the Ladies Invitational, the VIAWC tournament, and the Asian fundraiser. And notably, he did say that he's only seen a decline in our Canadian friends who golf at about 8% over last year. His actual total rounds, though, are more than last year, so we're making up for it. You know, the folks who aren't coming down across the border, their 2 towns are getting filled. I do have more information in there, but I know you've got a full agenda, and I did run through this at the last board meeting, so if the board will stipulate to it, the GM report is available online as well.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Ray?
Last board meeting, we talked about putting a crosswalk between Lake Louise and across. Did that happen? I didn't see.
No, it hasn't been painted yet, but it is scheduled.
Okay, cool.
Right, the signs have been ordered, they can come out and do that in a day. So as soon as Mike gets the signs in, and we're gonna coordinate the signs, we're also using, in addition to the 2 roadway signs, we have it's not an A-board, but it's a traffic delineator that we can set out there during the summer and spring season. During snowfall, we'll put it away, so it's not in the way. But yeah, you'll see it pretty soon. Cool. It'll run from the Lake Louise Trail diagonally across to the paved area where you have the mailboxes behind the gate spot.
Everybody likes the striping.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with it, but everybody says, man, the striping's great.
Oh, you mean the rendering?
Yeah, no, striping.
No, actual striping.
That was Rick and our board president's.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, moving on, no more questions. We're gonna move on to committee task force and updates on anything if we have any. Daniel, you have anything for architectural control?
Only that we are consolidating 2 meetings so that our next meeting is July 31st. So we're, because of scheduling with vacations and things, taking one of those out and squishing the other things.
Wow.
For
long one? Hopefully not.
I haven't looked yet.
Okay, try your best.
So what's the date again, Daniel?
The 31st,
31st.
and we will have the Tuesday tour before that. And everybody's invited to that.
Thank you, sir. Linda, you have anything document review?
I do. We had our first meeting. We reviewed 3 different documents that are policies that are sorely in need of revising. I'm taking your advice and I'm gonna forward those to the general manager to have him look at it, see if it's necessary to, to contact legal, or if we think that it's simple enough that it's something that's just fine to do. Most of it is updating.
Yeah. Okay, very good. So you'll be getting some stuff coming your way.
Super.
All right, moving on to finance committee. Rick, do you have anything, sir?
No, Finance Committee has not met since the last meeting. We have a meeting next week.
Excellent, thank you very much, sir. Long range planning?
Yes, we have been working on some stuff to bring in revenue, directed by the board, come up with that kind of stuff. And we actually came across a gentleman that's got 25 years of experience of putting in restaurants. And he actually moved from Seattle to Seven Valley, and the first thing he discovered was like, this place needs a coffee place. And then he figured out how many kids are here, like 1,400 or something. It's like, we could do coffee and ice cream. And he presented a plan to the long range committee last meeting. And it was very professionally done. It's 5 pages. I thought that was gonna be in this package, but I do not see it.
Yes. Did you have the plan?
I can bring it up on the screen. I didn't know we wanted it in the board backup.
Oh, that's fine. Anyway, we have a gentleman that would like to pursue lease in the dead space in our old administration office. He's been on site with it, with myself and Keith. This is like, I'm gonna rip this wall, rip this wall, and he's got some great ideas. He got some money to invest. And I think, just like whoever, maybe it's Michael or Keith, will pursue this guy that has interest and energy to go and give us a coffee place and an ice cream place.
Yeah, I think what we'd like to do at this point would be go ahead, since we have it on EET format now, to go ahead and send that to, not tonight, but get it out to the whole board so everyone can review the packet. I reviewed it, it is very concise, it's got every detail in there. A lot of stuff we need to look at as a board, and then a lot to think about as far as tenant improvements and what he's thinking. He didn't mention square footage or anything, but we did mark the entire space. He was drawing out what he has envisioned. So we need some more detail on that. And also, I'll be showing that space again tomorrow to another person, so we might have competing maybe interest in that space. So we'll be looking at both of those, but no, that's great news. It is good news, it's good for the community. He does have a ton of experience. Ice cream, I think, is great. We talked about foot traffic, I think is important. So with the golf right there and everything, it seemed like a good location and a good fit,
Yeah.
Parking could be an issue, something to be concerned about there. But I brought it up to him there. We looked at a few places, just so you know. We went there, we also went over to the security kiosk now that's over there in gate 1. And we talked about some different configurations and some things like that. So it is important to know that he's successful. We want him to be successful, so we just don't want someone going in there and then 3 months be gone. So it's very important we work out all the details on that. So everyone will get that packet hopefully tonight, knowing Michael probably is on his way now.
That's on the screen, man.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to call it.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I guess I am his contact, I guess he's gonna want to know.
Yeah, perfect.
So I'd tell him to pursue Michael.
Yep.
If everybody's interested in ice cream, I'm thinking.
Might be called for scoop right now.
Okay, I'll have him pursue,
Let's get it out, let everyone look, give it a few days so everyone can look at it and kind of digest what the concept is and stuff like that. Generally, you can put a menu together, pricing and things like that, so it's very, very nicely done. Thank you, Ray. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, that was my first concern, was parking.
Yeah.
Admin building, what about the kitchen space right here?
Well, I showed them this space as well. Yeah, so the way, the way it works, you show the spaces and they come back with their best gut feeling, and they're the ones gonna be putting in some money and investment into it. So I showed him 3 spots and he came back with that one. So I thought this would have been great right here too, and I, pushed the gym and maybe some smoothies and things like that for health,
Sure.
Maybe some, smaller health sandwiches or something like that, and he chose the other space, so we'll have to go with that for now.
Mr. President, do you want
Yes.
something brought back at the second board meeting of the month on that, since we will have all had time to look at
On
it?
the
Or it's not,
26th?
yeah, or is it not necessary?
I think it'd be wise just to keep it going, at least we can get an update and see where we're at.
Okay, if nothing else, we can just discuss, okay, gotcha.
So, just a little clarification on that, so how far is he gonna be able to go at this point? Is he still kind of waiting to hear back from us? Or
Well, I haven't-
what do you?
So I haven't spoken to him, so he gave his proposal to Ray.
Yeah, well, Ray Planet, he
Yeah.
can.
He did his whole spiel there, yeah. So the point is now, I think we all need to look at it, and I also need to show the space again tomorrow, because that was already promised to do, so I already promised to do that. I think both people need to look at it, and then I'm gonna show this person a couple different spaces as well, and see if there's any possibilities for that. We need to work it out, because it is a concern for parking. That's a big problem that I see now. If you go to El Agave at certain times, it's very difficult to try to find a parking space. So there
They're gonna
is.
use the golf parking lot?
Wait, that's the thing, if people would walk, that's what, I think being with the business owner, that's what he's gotta look at and go, wow, are they gonna park down there and wanna walk up to my space, that type of thing. So there's a lot of things to be considered in it, and he is a big part of it. But I think right now we look at it and bring it back at our next meeting. We also didn't discuss a price per square foot, how much demo dollars or what's gonna be done. There's a lot of other things to talk about, yeah, so there's a lot to be considered. But that'll give us a couple weeks to pursue that.
Yeah,
If we
he's
bring it
got-
back on the 26th.
He has like a soft opening in a 3-month time frame and a grand opening in a 4-month time frame once it gets done.
Yeah, depending on the start date.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you started in September, 3 months later, you expect to have the shop open. Not much ice cream sales. Or a lot of coffee and hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ray, appreciate that. All right, moving on, N&E Committee, any updates, Rob?
Oh yeah, we got a lot of updates going on. So now that we've gotten past the 4th of July, things are really beginning to ramp up as we prepare for the AGM elections. So the candidate applications are online. They are also physical copies are at the Welcome Center. One thing, Michael, one thing for staff, because they've done a lot to help us in preparing for that, so thank you. They've also got a sticker, I think, that they're, when someone comes and get the physical application, there's a little sticker that reminds people, make sure it's in a sealed envelope, and saying attention, N&E chair. It has to have that on there. They also revised on the website, they bolded and underlined that fact that it has to have the attention N&E chair on there. We had a great meeting yesterday with Michael and Diane. Linda was there to kind of help us. But we just want to make sure we're all kind of on the same page on what it's going to look like once the application period closes, which is going to be on September 2nd. Close of business September 2nd. And then Michael, you guys close at 4:30? 4:30. So at 4:45, we'll have a special N&E meeting where we will open the application envelopes. We will vet those applications. And then we will have our lottery determining how people appear on the ballot, and then how they appear also in the views. I'll be sending notes out to all of the candidates, asking them to ensure that they have their bios and pictures back to me within, it's 48 hours, which would be September 4th. And then those that are applying for a board position, I shouldn't say apply, those who are running for a board position, they would need to have their 500-word vision statement essay by September 22nd. And I believe that's a Monday, that's the second to the last Monday. Those will appear in the views. What else? We decide, the N&E Committee is recommending, because as you guys know, you guys are gonna approve all this. We're recommending that the outer mailing envelope, the envelope that appears on somebody's mailbox, that will have all of the printed materials, that we use the same size, the window like we used last year, the same artwork. We're starting to work on the booklet. Linda has graciously offered to help us with the booklet, editing that. We'll be working closely with Unilect in terms of the ballot, the instructions. We still are going to go up to AMS, printing and courier services in Blaine to proof the printed materials to make sure that we like them. And so that's all in the work. I'm missing something, I know I am. Forums, candidate forums. We're I'm trying to think of the right term because you guys approve everything. So we are suggesting that the first forum would be in the dance barn and on Zoom, would be on September 24th at 6:30 p.m., 6:30 to 8:30. We're doing that because we were thinking it's early. That's the 24th is when AMS will be taking the non-US printed materials over the border.
What day of the week is that?
Wednesday.
Wednesday the 24th, thank you. And then the next forum, again, would be in the dance barn. It would be at Saturday, October 11th at 6:30 p.m. And then there would be a meet and greet, which would be Sunday, October 26th at 3 o'clock. Being that the Wednesday, Saturday timeframes, those are right around the dinner hour. The idea would be maybe some families might come. I've asked Michael whether we have some funds that we could buy, not a whole bunch of, not a full dinner, but just some refreshments, maybe some cheese, some crackers, some things so people don't feel like I gotta go home or I gotta eat dinner. Just something that can hold them off until the forum. We're really hoping people come to the forum. This year I'll be moderating the forum, and I will be sending the candidates questions so that they can review. I don't think we're gonna be going to social media trying to find what's the hottest topic in social media this year. It's gonna be more about what do you feel like what do you feel that you have to offer? What are your concerns? What do you think is important for us to grow? Okay, so those are the forms I talked about, applications. Yeah, we're just gonna have a lot of editing happening and we're all flying real tight. So we talked about, we really want to make sure that all of us together are working very closely with the budget calendar. There's dates on there when we need to get things to Unilect. Things like the booklet, we have a budget that we gotta recommend to the membership, that all needs to get on the booklet. 80 measures, those things. So, any questions for me? Sure, Ed.
So last year, as a board candidate, the forums were set, and I had plans to be out of town at all of them. So how are you gonna try to manage or mitigate that? Are you gonna try to poll the candidates, see who's available when, and maybe have some choices of dates so that you can have higher participation?
We talked about that yesterday. That's one reason why I'm bringing this up now, is that if anybody's listening and watching, hopefully they are, that they can look at their plans, and certainly if there are people that can't make those, we are willing to try to adjust it, but that's a difficult thing and we know it. So I appreciate you sending answers on video, but that's not the same as being there, sitting at the table. We recognize that, right? So how we're gonna manage that is just try to do what's the best that we can for everybody.
So in the board applications, you can maybe include those dates so people would be aware of it ahead of time. Sure, we can make that out. I don't think we've had any applications submitted at this point.
Just open on the 7th.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Just been a couple of.
No, what I'm saying is we can edit the document at this time. At this time.
Linda?
I'd like to remind, and I know it's partly Rob's job, but it's like, so we were supposed to look at, and we've kind of looked at the agenda. The only time the agenda changes is when you have other ballot measures beyond the budget. No one's brought anything forward yet. We have our next meeting of the board on the 14th of August. And by then, if anybody has anything in addition to the budget that they want to go on the ballot, it's something the board needs to discuss as a whole and vote on. And there's nothing so far, but,
Well, we have the safety committee.
I know, but
It hasn't been.
I know, I'm just saying we need to do that, or you're not gonna have,
We can do that by resolution.
Well, we need to.
No,
We have to come up.
you
with
have
some
to do the resolution, and because you wanna make it a standing committee, it has to be voted on by the board. It's not just a resolution that we among ourselves vote on. That's what we've already done, to make the safety committee an ad hoc committee, as I understand it. Rick wants to make it a standing committee of the board.
Yeah, because,
Yeah, with what we're doing, I get it.
sorry.
Well, what Linda's saying is time's already starting to
Right,
tick.
no, I get it, I get it.
Yeah, so, yeah, we just wanna make sure we're really, flying tight along this calendar. Oh, the other thing I know I can't forget to bring this up. Hybrid voting, electronic voting. So, for those that are watching and listening, this year, people can vote at the AGM electronically. They can choose. Everybody's gonna still get printed materials. They can vote through, just like we always have, using those printed ballots. But there will also have the opportunity to use Unilec's electronic voting, and which is all of the submissions that people put in on their ballots. It's all of the data is encrypted. Nobody can manipulate it. They use this with large HOAs. Michael experienced it with, at least, no, I think St. Katie used it, if I'm not right. So we did it as a test. I think all of the boards nodding that it went well. I'm just gonna say that I think that's why I'm gonna do it, because I just don't want to like fill out paper and put stamps on things and stick it in a mailbox. Actually, last year I poured coffee on my ballot and everything ran. I ended up having to get a new ballot. I mean, it's just, to me, it's much easier to just, you can use your cell phone, you can use your laptop, and there will be specific instructions. We talked about maybe even specific instructions on how to vote electronically, but also we're talking about using a training video that Unilec gave us, and perhaps even maybe something that N&E Committee is going to put together, where Michael's going to help us with some editing on it. So, yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody knows, and bringing that up, that electronic voting's out there, it's an option. We've all tested it. It's safe. Thank you,
Rob.
That's all I got.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Moving on to safety committee, Rick.
We just had a dedication of the Life Preserver Loaners Rack that Eagle Scout candidate Zach Anderson coordinated and designed and built. It's beautiful. We've got Frank helped coordinate that and procured 16 personal flotation devices in 4 different sizes, and so it's a great service to our community and to those that use the marina. I think that went up really well.
Yeah, the only comment I would have is some signage that makes it a lot simpler. Just say, free for the day, please return when you're done.
We should be able to come up with something like that. That's good.
Just another way to look at it is if someone takes a life jacket and uses it, that's a good thing too. I mean,
That's a whole idea, yeah.
It's the law.
you know,
Thank you, Rick. STR Task Force, any updates?
We just had a meeting last night, where they nailed some things down. Our first meeting was the end of May, so we expect to present something to the board by the end of August, I think it is. But we're making progress. There's just a lot of stuff that we're going through. We've looked at a lot of legal advice, stuff we got in the past, and some stuff Michael supplied us with from some Katie and other sources. But it's really a lot of stuff to wade through, and the implementation is sort of where we are at this point. But we'll have something for the board by the end of August.
Thank you, Daniel. Any questions? All right, moving on, continuing business, 6A. Carlotti here, ready down? Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, President. So what we've all been waiting for is board funded opportunity to hire Carletti to give us a design for barn 6, and so Rick and myself, we chaired the long-range committee along with 7 other people from all gates and a variety of ages. And we've been working pretty hard on that. And tonight, we also have the architect, is Quentin Sutter. He's been hanging through all of our housekeeping stuff here tonight, and
How you doing?
Rick and I will go through these 9 slides briefly, and then we'll allow you ask some questions to the architect about this design. I'm going to pass out. Michael made some larger prints so you can see something here.
Can you just come up to the podium then?
Yeah, when it's time to come up.
Okay.
Or do you want me to come up?
No.
They wanna hear from you.
Might be good to hear his process of how he went through it as well.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay.
He's
All right.
gonna be after this. So we're ready for the first slide.
Go ahead, small.
So I'm gonna share my screen.
Yes.
So go to the home and see.
Yes, Stu, yes.
Yeah.
So I can share.
You want that?
I'm seeing it.
That's
I have one more. Here you go.
Okay, we can go to the next slide. Okay. So back February 13th, we had a board meeting here, and you guys decided to assign long-range plan committee to come up with some best plans that we can come up with for barn 8 and barn 6. At that time, we had taken several bids on barn 8 and found out all kinds of things that were wrong with it. And we had engineering, and we all know the results of that. It's not real positive, but needs repair.
Almost not happy.
So, go to the next slide. That's where we're recording. Some of the history in Sutton Valley, a lot of you have been here longer than I have, but barn 8 was built in 1961. It was built for animals, and then barn 6 and 8 were also built for animals. It's between 1961 and 67. And then the rotunda in gate 1 was built, I'm pretty sure it's in the late 60s. And then the adult center was built in 1965. Barn 7 was removed not that many years ago. And that was, we got inspected, but we didn't find all the beetles, and unfortunately, we lost that building. When we lost that building, we lost the adult center that we had. We went to the library. The library is a good thing. And then the rotunda was removed about 10 years ago, and that was in gate 1. And that was started out being a mail sorting place, and then it was for meeting halls. There was even wedding receptions up there. And then there was even a daycare up there. So it was a useful building, but I think it wore out also when we tore it down. So Sutton Valley's had a good track record of having buildings that wear out and tear them down, and we haven't done anything. Next slide, please. So there has been some proposals for the community to do some building. There was a proposal, there might have been more, but this is the only one that I can find. In 2017, there was a revitalization proposal for $5 million. And it went to the vote of the community, and it failed by a narrow margin. And then in 2023, I was around for this, there was a proposal for an enclosed gym for $2.1 million that failed. At the same time, there was a proposal in 2023 for an open air pavilion for $1.1 million, and to preserve the footprint that's in barn 6. It did pass as an advisory vote, but nothing has been done. The next slide. So on our committee that we had, we were trying to find out really what is needed And we found out we got almost 8,000 people living here, and a good portion of those people, per Google, this is just a recent thing from Google, we pulled off and we used it for a couple other examples. There's like 1,400 community members that are 65 plus in our neighborhood. That's a big chunk. And there's 1,500 children. So that's another need. And we get more requests on long-range planning committee for an adult center than anything else. And it makes sense because we got 1,400 seniors in the neighborhood. Whatever you guys do, they're an adult center, but we're not even interested. We vote it down, whatever. So anyway, we need an adult center in the plans for Barn 6. We need multi-purpose rec area, not just for basketball, but for kids, for roller skating, square dancing, indoor soccer. You could play, you can do like hockey that's on a basketball court. You can do pickleball, and volleyball here. I bet you were at volleyball there. And then, like, it'd be nice to get everybody together and have a meal, have some hot dogs, make some spaghetti feeds. And it's something that draws the community together for all the things that are coming up in our committee, that we need to do this, so why bother? And another thing that we've been tasked to do is come up with some ways to make revenue with the dead space that we had, and if we're gonna create a new space, well, can we make any money? So we added some ideas for an event menu in this also, and then we also need meeting rooms. We have several clubs, everything from the knitting club, the art club, the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts. There's lots of clubs that we have and they need meeting rooms and get stuff together. So just building 6, Barn 6 we're putting together is trying to encompass all this in one building. Fortunately, we have a great footprint. It's 130 by 100, huge. Okay, what's the next slide say? This is, Rick's gonna talk about Barn 8 here, because he's on the subcommittee of trying to figure out plans for this.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. So as the board is well aware, we've had a recent report at the end of last year about engineering in order to bring Barn 8 up to code and what it would cost. And those, if you add up all those things, including the new bridge and ADA accessible and all that sort of thing, that becomes to 3.788 billion. The thing about Barn 8 is it's been around since the mid-60s. And even if we do these structural improvements and re-siding and roofing and all of that, we don't have 100% confidence at just how long that barn will last or could last. It may very well go a long time, and it very well, even though we had a very invasive inspection, there's no guarantee. As opposed to a new structure, we know we'll get at least 50 years out of it. One of the expenses that wasn't included in the estimate was adding fire suppression, and that's estimated to be $250,000. If we embark on the improvements on Barn 8 before we start construction on Barn 6, there will be a significant loss of use of the exercise room, access to the pool. Some of that can be managed through time of year, but the exercise room in particular, I think would be missed the most in terms of owner benefit, loss of benefit. That's mostly what we determined out. We would probably also have the opportunity to expand the size of the exercise area and exercise room, make it a little more conducive to additional use if we were able to expand and use some of the space in barn 6 for some of the other activities.
Yeah, the estimate at $3.788 million, is that just to do the seismic and structural upgrades with contingencies, or would that include those plus a full remodel? Make it a decent use.
What do you mean by full remodel? You mean,
Roof replacement and
what replacement?
roof,
Oh, roof. Yeah, so,
siding.
yes, yeah, siding and HVAC and all those things that are needing to be done. They were delineated in those estimates.
My concern is just the unknowns.
Yeah, well, that's, we have a better idea because of the invasiveness of the inspection that we had, but, which was more than was done on barn 7. That was mostly, that was largely to determine the structural design, but we didn't inspect every single board and every single, so we don't know. There's a 20% contingency on this, most of the structural portion of that, and another 10% on some of the HVAC and that kind of thing. So the question is, is a 20% contingency going to be enough? Question mark, we don't know. And that's partly why the committee is looking at more favorably at barn 6, because that's a known entity. And then after building barn 6, the possibility of maybe cutting back on how much we need to do for barn 8 and how much space we actually need to recapture here. So, okay, thank you. That's some variable. Yeah.
We go to the next slide, Michael. So in barn 6, the new build, we know, like Rick said, that you're gonna get 50+ years life expectancy, something we know. Just briefly, you guys have all got prints and stuff, but the first level is a multi-purpose rec area. We have meeting rooms, we have a kitchen, restrooms, family restroom, and we have kind of like a roll-up doors. We have 5 roll-up doors, 3 on one side, 2 in the front. So it does give it an open air type opportunity, for things like this, it'd be really nice. And on the second level is where we worked real hard to come up with an adult center and also a venue that we can make some revenue. We have a kitchen up there. It's not a full-fledged commercial kitchen. It's both kitchens are just warming kitchens. At like $400,000 more to get a full commercial kitchen. It's just amazing. The ducting and all the stuff that happens. So both of these are kitchens. There's a kitchen on the first floor. We can do hot dogs and popcorn. And then there's on the second floor, you can have a reception and you can have a nice meal up there. The caterer warms it up. And it is a mezzanine. It's not a full floor. There's 13,000 square feet on the first floor. This is a mezzanine. And then we call it the commons area. You'll see on the prints, it's the adult area, but it's to use for mainly is the adult centers up there with meeting rooms, and there would be a dedicated adult center. And then also toward the front next to the kitchen, there's another area that can also be configured with round tables and almost like a Starbucks type meeting area, and the seniors can play games or meet. And we also have a kitchen that we do a lunch. There's also a balcony that views the lake and the golf course that we can have 49 people on. It's a nice deal. Go to the next slide, please. Let's see. So I did talk to wedding event planner to find out really what do we have here? We have 1,500 square feet, we got a kitchen, we got restrooms, we got a view. What could we get for this for bringing in income? And this gal she lives in Southern Valley, she's been here 20 years. She does lots of weddings, she's married people in the barn. She knows stuff. all the places that have weddings in Bellingham. Our particular venue that we have, she says, you can do the simple, hey, you have the space, just like it is, $3,000. Hey, you really want to get into business, grab some round table, get some white chairs, offer the kitchen. She said the beauty of this place is there's people that have those short-term rentals. And if somebody wants to get married up there, they rent one of those houses, and then you guys can get some golf bars and golf carts, include that, and shuttle them back and forth. You know, you can bring it up, you can get $8-10 if you really got into business. But simple business, I just go nuts and bolts. I think the next slide shows, yeah. Nope. Yeah, anyway, short term, if we go, you rent it out 12 times a year, which is just simple, times $3,000, it's like $36,000 a year. And then this is the big number. All this stuff costs money. Whoop, deal with it. That was fast.
Screensaver.
Oh, there you go, it'll do it. So, let's see, we'll build up both sides.
I'll get back to it.
Okay. Well, you saw the big number there.
Yeah.
It's 8 million. And this is, estimated, this is conservative, this is trying to work into 2026 costs. And I'm gonna have Quinn explain this some more, exactly how they think about that number. I talked to Joel just before this meeting, just to verify facts. He said that when we had the approval for the open air pavilion, that there's $1,130,000 that's obligated for Barn 6 pavilion. Our long-term committee were saying like, geez, that's a lot of money. They recommended to go long-term financing and see if we can get a really low monthly increase in the low 20s. Kind of got that confirmed. And you got in on that too, didn't you?
Yeah, so that's correct, for the 8.4 million, if we had a loan for the total amount, which we don't need because we have 1.3, get it down to 7.3, it would be in the range of $20 for about 20 years, plus or minus, depends on the interest rate, we don't know.
That was at 7.25.
Yeah, and we might be able to do better than that.
Yeah.
It's really lower than that, but that's
20.
yeah. So actually, the $20 a month would actually cover up closer to 10 million. So it would cover most of what would be needed for Barn 8 if we did all of what we needed to do. That's been identified by engineering.
So you have 6 and 8 covered.
Yeah, because there is some additional funds that have been allocated for
Are you ready to take questions?
Just curious if we're gonna get a real cost estimate, not just a
so-
number on PowerPoint.
There's a detailed, it should have been in the, if it wasn't in the packet, it was an addendum that has, it's about 5 pages.
Yeah, we know.
Who's asking?
I have a circle.
I think it was put on the website late, and I don't know if
There's
I
no
got
doubt.
copies for it all.
Been there.
Max put it up there, but I didn't have time to open it.
I think it was an addendum to which related.
Yeah, we're very late.
Hey, Rob?
Yeah, this might sound like a stupid question, but are you saying $20 per month per property?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, there's 3,111 properties that are buildable.
For the debt service.
Yeah,
Yeah, it might be too early for this question, but what kind of seismic design are we looking at?
well, let's go architect on that.
Yeah, do you want me to?
Mr. Why don't you come forward, this
I
is.
feel like I'm getting some questions here, so.
This question, and then also, what kind of occupancy are we looking
It's a really
Okay,
good one.
one question here, was that all talking at the same time?
Good evening, Quinn Sutter from Carly Architects, architect of record. We came to our outfit to help you guys out. I know it's a very difficult situation being on that side of the table. I deal with a lot of rural fire departments. Matter of fact, we're working for some remodel right up the street for Station 22. It's not an easy position that you guys are in, trying to manage money and think about the long term. And wow, big sticker shock, right? 8.4 million basically.
Excuse me.
So kind of getting to, trying to be as brief as I can because I know there's a lot of questions. I mean, basically Ray came, had kind of a program of spaces that were what we wanted, what we needed. We wanted to stay within the footprint of Barn 6, so because we don't want to grow it and kind of incur kind of site design, upgrades of storm and stuff like that. And how we kind of approached this whole thing was kind of an all-in bucket for all the wants, right? We didn't sit there and try to necessarily value engineer or anything or kind of peel stuff back or whatever and just say, look, it's cheap now because it's on ink on paper. Let's just go full boat, do everything that we want, everything that we need, and then put together a detailed cost estimate. We use Matt Woolsey out here at Bellingham. He does all our fire stations and stuff, and he's usually within that 2 to 5% on that estimate. Construction costs have gone crazy over the past years between COVID and cost escalation, obviously the wars and stuff like that. Haven't done that. You know, it is a big sticker shock, but to a degree, you know, we're not, you know, we didn't like show like tile from Italy, or we're not throwing on, you know, $100 square foot metal siding. I mean, there's definitely stuff that we can pull out of it, maybe to save some money, but you're not gonna take, you know, kind of a $7 million, $7.5 million building for this size in particular and just drop it down to $5 million. That's just not the reality of this construction world. You know, and I don't know exactly what was all in the estimate for Barn 80, but you know, this estimate just, you know, it's kind of thrown in permit fees, it has A&E fees, it has contingency, and impact fees. So there's kind of a whole, and it has, you know, so it has kind of a full circle estimate with it. It also has a negative 12% take off of it, because when Matt Woolsey does it, we do it from design bid build, we have to go do union or pick any wages. So that would have been a whole other chunk if you had to go that route. You know, there's also kind of, you can kind of go to design and build route, right? Where you kind of pick a contractor up front, maybe, you know, figure out how you value an engineer, kind of cut corners, so to speak. But the estimate is based off of kind of design, bid, and then build, right? So you can take the whole drawing specification sheet, get multiple bids on it. If you went design build, you can kind of save some money on the architectural engineering side. So there's kind of ways to play with it, but it's not, it wouldn't be professional of me to kind of say, hey Ray, what's the budget gonna be? So that way I can get the budget to tell you, yeah, we can build that for $250 a square foot, because I want the job, right? So it's conservative, but it's also kind of like, I want to make sure that we kind of have the understanding if you want to go down this route, it is expensive and it's a big undertaking. Now, you're trying to balance with it with barn 80, like it's kind of been brought up. If you do seismic upgrades, you're still stuck with the barn, right? Gentleman earlier was talking about liquefaction and stuff like that. Your barn is built on whatever they put in the ground in 1960, right? You build a new building, geotest is gonna come in, probably gonna do some over-Xing, putting in some CDF, building up a new foundation, completely new building. Also, because of the size of it, occupancy, you're probably running into a category risk 3 type of building, as opposed to 2. So there's gonna be a lot more safety factors within this building from a seismic side of things. ADA stuff, I mean, just walking around this building, There is a lot of accessibility.
All around is the word.
Yeah, so, a completely new facility has completely new ADA, features and it's got an elevator. So I'll take whatever question that you guys have. But in the end, it's kind of, I'm not trying to sell you something that's, tell you that it's 5 million just so you guys approve of the job, right? You kind of want to be realistic about it. And as I understand it, if you guys say yay or nay, it kind of does go to a second phase for the public to kind of chime in. I would love to talk to this gentleman here who's also, that came earlier, just to kind of talk with them and kind of go through stuff. So yeah, I'll kind of open up the questions.
Okay, so I guess we're all going to have questions. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, what kind of occupancy loads are we deciding to upstairs versus downstairs?
Well, because you have 2 exits, you can have up to 500 feet. Once you get over occupant load of 500, you need 3 exits, but you have 2 exits on the upstairs, so technically speaking, you could have an occupant load of 500 up there, or 499, but, it's really, I think, code-wise, when I do it, because it's 1,500 square feet, it'd be unconcentrated chairs, so it's 15, 1 person per 15 square feet, so, I think code-wise, when I did it, it was like, with the other spaces, it was like 174 or something like that, but that's just, that doesn't limit it, that's just a code perspective of kind of justifying how many exits and stuff that you need. But because of the number of exits up there, technically you could have up to 499 occupants.
Better than that.
So 500 per floor?
Well, the bottom floor, you actually have over 3 exits, so then you can go over 500.
Over 500 at the lower, and then up to.
And it's a fully sprinkled building. I mean, if you do go to decide to not do this and you're gonna do farming, I would highly push to put sprinklers in it. I mean, I know it's extra money, but you're talking about assembly spaces, you're talking about people in a wedding, you get a lot of people in a wedding dancing and something happens, they just see the one exit and everyone funnels to that one exit and they don't think about other exits. So I would encourage you to at least, I would like you to obviously be 4 and 6, but if you decide to go to another route, I would highly encourage you to do this for years.
I have a question for you. It
Yes.
has to do with this occupancy question. The floor up here, there's a dance barn floor up there. That has less, I think we're not even allowed 100 people on that floor. It's so way under supported. How is the new barn gonna be done?
So the new barn would have the whole live load from the structural engineer. I think I wanna say the live load is, so you take the code prescriptive, and I wanna say the live load is like another 30 pounds per square foot. So it would all be designed accordingly. The other thing too that thing probably doesn't go over, I would think, I'm getting into the code, it should be that whole dance floor area should probably be 1 hour rated from downstairs.
I
and
think
the rest
this
of the
big beam that you're looking at here is kind of what holds the dance floor up.
So, I wouldn't want to hang out down here if there was a bunch of people dancing.
We've had kids up there and people exercising up there, and it definitely is interesting.
Yeah, and there's other kind of intangibles too. I mean, you kind of retrofit this, that's great, you put a Band-Aid on it, it's good for another 10 or 15 years, but there's still gonna be kind of deficiencies with it. You kind of go brand new, you kind of take care of a lot of things, like, as we get into it, we would look at kind of upgrading walls, so that way we have good sound control between the gymnasium and so you have separate events. I mean, we were in here earlier and there was a kid that I think didn't want to leave the pool, and so we had a hard time about it. So again, you retrofit this barn, you're gonna take care of some of those annoying issues. These are all things to kind of consider. Again, it's not an easy decision, because I know once you make a decision, you're gonna get a lot of people knocking on your door about what you're doing, but trying to help you make an informed decision. And you are, it is a long-term decision, right? And you're talking about something that you're gonna build that you don't have to touch, where something that you kind of spend a bunch of money into it and you keep putting Band-Aids on it. And I mean, it happens all the time, and sometimes it is what the budget is, and that's what you have to deal with, right? And, you know, so, the cost estimate, definitely take a look through it. It's kind of broken down a lot with square footages and linear foots and stuff. You know, some of the stuff we don't really know, you know, so there's kind of some chunks in there. I mean, we're assuming with the new barn, what's going on, we're probably gonna have to upgrade that 200 amp service to a 400 amp service. You know, it's just kind of those things that are in there. I mean, here's another thing to throw at you. What if you decide to go that route and maybe it doesn't happen day one, but what if you go ahead and kind of put in the infrastructure in a location where you put a generator? And then all of a sudden, in the winter, when it does become, like the gentleman said, where you only have one way out when people lose power, now you got a community emergency center. Flip on that generator, people got heat, people got a place to shower. Granted, it's adding more cost to it, whatever, this is good, but, I mean, I think these are all things that it's very difficult thinking long-term, and, you know, I wanna give an honest opinion of proposal and estimate, and like I said, use a cost estimate on this stuff, I really trust them. And I will also say, things don't get cheap. I designed a fire station for the city of Oak Harbor in 2016. That was like around $285 a square foot. City council said, no, that's too expensive. City grew, got to a point where they actually had to build it, which they put it out to bid last year, $475 a square foot. So I'm not saying, and then granted, I think we've had a very unusual couple of years of cost escalations with inflation and COVID and the war in Ukraine. So it's not to say that that's gonna just do that, but costs are not gonna come down. I mean, you know, we might get into a crash or something and maybe labor comes down, but, you know, the people selling the light fixture that sold it for $5 that are selling it for now for 30 are not gonna turn around and sell it for 20, right? So maybe labor costs do come down, but, you know, the trend is stuff is just gonna get more expensive.
Rob?
Yeah, just, hi, Rob, yes.
Rob.
Hi, so I'm looking at this, at the second floor plan. I think I'm better looking at this, I'm envisioning it better, but, so the second floor is L-shaped and the sport court down below on first floor, that goes all the way up, that's a full second floor.
Second floor is L-shaped, so then we figure we put windows in there, so then if there is kind of a cross event, you can kind of see down in the gymnasium, spectate, and whatnot. And then that also kind of like, that creates the inner structure line where we can do prefab trusses, because the width of the board kind of exceeds that, but it's kind of a natural break line, so we can do prefab trusses.
And then, if people are having a dance or something up here, and there's a really great basketball game going downstairs, will there be sound insulation so we don't hear all the cheering when we're dancing?
So sound is tough. So
Yeah.
that's, and if when we do like a church or something, we usually try to bring in an acoustical consultant, because the best way that this lady has explained it to me is like, you gotta treat sound like water, right? Sound finds a leak. You spend all this money building all this great wall, but then the door's undercut, right? So all the sound's just kind of flowing through it. So there's definitely ways where we can kind of build a double wall with an air gap and kind of go triple pane on the windows. And you know, if we get into this route, we can get an acoustical consultant involved to kind of talk about that. But then you also have to weigh that cost too, right? Like, okay, I'm throwing a bunch of money to do all this acoustical stuff. How often am I gonna have a rowdy basketball game and a wedding event?
Yeah. So I guess what I was thinking, and maybe this is so much a question to you, but kind of like a thought, is if we're gonna be charging somebody $3,000 for a wedding, and there's kids playing downstairs and there's sound levels coming up, I would really hate to see us say, well, we gotta close the gym because there's a wedding tonight. Because I feel like our members already have, that they've got the reservation for that activity. That's just my
Yeah.
opinion. And then the last thing I would say is, who knows what's gonna happen with that $6 million cost if we wait because of the tariffs? You know, I mean,
There's the tariffs, what happens when all the insurance money starts going in and they start rebuilding Southern California from fires?
Yeah.
You know, these are all, if I knew all these things, I'd probably be on an island with the amount of money.
yeah, really.
And you know, the other thing too about this floor plan, as you kind of debate and discuss this, I mean, this floor plan is still ink on paper, right? It's not set in stone. This is what the cost estimate is based off of. So there's an opportunity to kind of go, you know what, let's just shell out a couple of spaces, or let's move this space over here. Maybe we don't need a kitchen on both. There's ways around it, but this is kind of like, okay, we have a dollar amount, we kind of see what it's based off of, and we kind of have a detailed estimate, so we can make a very educated guess or decision on which direction.
Yeah, thanks for answering my questions,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, because it is a big sticker, what your thoughts would be on what would be some really obvious areas that would be easy to reduce costs and not lose a lot like that?
So the detailed estimate allows you to kind of jump into some of that stuff pretty easy, like, you know, you can remove the dormers off the top, like kind of give it that barn feel. You can reduce the amount of overhead holders. The estimate, we're assuming, storefront windows. We can go to vinyl windows. We can reduce the amount of windows. We can maybe not build out the second floor and just kind of put in the rough plumbing and electrical, and then that could be like a future build out. Again, we kind of go, okay, well, maybe we go design and build, which is you kind of select a contractor up front. It kind of reduces the architectural engineering fee. They kind of maybe have some ideas to do stuff. But I think, you're talking about a bucket of water, and these things that you're taking out are teaspoons, right? You're not gonna, it's like I said, I mean, you kind of, okay, take away all the windows, take away all the overhead doors, don't do the second floor, maybe you're saving $350,000, $400,000 on it. It's again, you're not gonna take this thing and build it for $5 million unless you just don't want to do anything on the inside or just build it smaller, right? I mean, we're proposing a deck on the north side, outdoor deck. You can look at taking that away. I mean, there's stuff that you can kind of get into it, but again, as Ray and I kind of approached it, it's like we want to do the whole bucket, so we see the whole bucket, right? And not fill the bucket halfway and then try to sell it and improve it, and then there's all these deficiencies with it.
Then you're adding cost rather than.
Yeah, then you're talking cost per member, and what you're saying is not really gonna affect cost per member on the long that much, because there's not a big savings somewhere.
Yeah, big savings, build half the building.
Yeah.
Or just build a basketball court.
Yeah.
Those are your big savings, right?
But what,
Or no basketball court.
What's that?
What if there's no basketball court? This is 2 floors of a basketball court. This is like, what percentage of square footage is the basketball court taking?
I have to look at it, I wanna say it's about 8,000, so it's a 19,000 square foot building, I wanna say about 8,000 square feet is probably the coverage. So you got the basketball court, and then you kind of have like the 8 feet around the basketball court, so you can tighten some of that stuff up.
So could we shrink the footprint, get rid of a basketball court, and maybe it's half the price, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think just the project costs. Now, so when I say project costs, when you look at the estimate that he has, which includes basically contingency, you have your GC general requirements, which is just kind of having a job, right, there's a porta potty in the job shack, and then you have profit and overhead, which is 8%. Again, some of these things could probably be negotiable, maybe a little bit high in the market. So I think it worked out to be about $380 a square foot on this, just on the project bare costs. So there you go, you knock out 3,000 square feet, and map, and there you go.
In my experience, putting a building like this, you have a basketball court in the middle, you've got a basketball court, you have a couple rooms around it, it's just, that's the focus, that's all you hear, and that sets the tone for the.
But it's also probably the cheapest space to build too.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
You know, because all it is a floor, some lights, some venting, because you still gotta have walls and stuff, but it doesn't have any plumbing, it doesn't really have a bunch of electrical outlets, you know, stuff like that. So it is probably maybe the cheaper thing to build, but yeah, I mean, you look at it and you're going, I'm paying a lot of money for a big court, and then you're probably trying to justify, you know, is it gonna get used enough to justify it?
Yeah, there are two guys playing in there while there's everybody else listening to their.
Yeah.
It's not just a basketball court, is it? Like,
No, correct,
that's,
correct.
I think that's kind of what we keep calling it, a basketball court. And it's like, it's a multi-use, open area that could be used for many different things, and possibly even like a dance or a potluck or.
Correct. That should change so
I think that's the problem.
You have the
so-
fall fair for the.
Yeah. Yeah, the valley,
So the estimate in there, there is an estimate for the sport court in there, and it's actually a multi-use sport court. It's not like a wood sport court that can only be used for basketball, so it's a multi-use sport court that can be for pickleball, you know, roller hockey, whatever. So that is another.
Pickleball, that's pretty loud.
And roller skating too, roller skating is good, got a group for that. But, you know, kids can come down Friday night, popcorn, hot dogs, and roller skating.
Tom?
Yeah, I think the misunderstanding is it's not really a basketball court, basketball can be played in this space. But I see it as the same as a dance floor, a set of chairs for large community meetings. It's a multi-purpose room. But what I'm failing to see is a gym.
Jim equipment.
Your gym is. We're planning.
So it's gonna stay
there.
So, yeah, I mean, we had those conversations, but there was a planning committee and they felt that the gym would stay in the building.
Okay. It's already got showers and a pool.
For instance, if we had a room this size in barn 6 when we do it, this could easily, the gym can easily expand all the way into here and.
Yeah, and that's another thing to think long-term wise too, right? Again, you build that, it does open a lot of flexibility for this building. Maybe it reduces what you have to do remodeling, because you kind of get rid of the structural issue of the dance floor, and maybe you could just use it for general storage for supplies or whatever. But it does open an opportunity for more here, but it's not, like, again, it's a tough side of the table. I know it is, so. And, you know, knowing how many fire stations I've done in rural communities, kind of going with this, and you're always gonna have different opinions, and just try to make our best educated, informative decision to kind of help the community.
See, we got any more questions for the committee?
So this cost estimate doesn't take into consideration like stormwater?
No, so that was the whole point of staying within the barn 6 footprint, because if we stayed inside the barn 6 footprint, we wouldn't have to upgrade any of the storm systems, because we can use the same, roof water is considered clean water, so we can tight line all that, and that would be fine. And as long as, I believe the current ecology manual, as long as we're staying under 2,000 square feet of touching any current impervious surface, which we're gonna touch a little bit to put in footings and stuff like that. There wouldn't be any water quality or storm upgrades required. Now, if you start building outside of the barn footprint, where you're kind of taking, say, existing landscaping and turning it to impervious, then you start running some stuff where you might require water quality and stuff like that. But this does stay within the footprint, so it allows you to not do that. There wouldn't be any requirements in that scenario.
Any additional questions?
Well, I've got a weird question.
Go ahead.
So how are you gonna, talking about stormwater, so have you not even done that yet? Look at how the storm, like on our individual homes, all mine's enclosed and goes in to containment underneath my home that you have is, because right now, when it rains, the rain comes off these barns like a flood.
Yes,
Seriously, so is that gonna be taken into
so what you have
consideration?
so what you currently have, and this is kind of the thought process behind it, but what you currently have is you have barns that basically don't have gutters and downspouts. So you have clean roof water that's hitting impervious. Once you get to the ground and you hit impervious and it starts talking about dirty, then that turns into dirty water, and it's specifically a parking lot. So now in this situation, because you do have, I believe it was an 8-inch storm line that's running right now currently kind of on the west side of barn 6. Now you tight line, you can gutter and downspout barn 6 with the new build and tight line and tie into that. So now you're controlling all that water, and then it kind of goes into the system. And we're not adding any more water to the system, because it's already currently doing that.
We're just putting it where it belongs and
You're putting it where it's-
all over.
You're controlling it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions tonight?
Well, yeah, I'd like to, but the place, Toronto Fire Station.
22 or 21.
The one right here.
They're just, it's an old tire station and, you know, it's designed to.
You don't have to.
Do you need this process of the back?
No, absolutely not, yeah.
And the rest of us got one via email today?
I had not seen this.
I'll make sure.
Yeah, I would have put it in the packet, I didn't have.
Can you take that and then scan it, email it?
Sure, if you've got it dated, would you?
I've got it on contact.
That way I don't get a scan. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's great to meet you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that was a fool's I appreciate. That isn't, that,
Want to take a quick break?
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a quick 2-minute break.
Lori just
You good? Okay. All right, moving on to continuing business, we're gonna go to ratify, approval request to ratify the driveway improvement easement for SVCA Parcel 29423, page 12 in your packet. Michael?
Thank you, Mr. President. The board may recall on February 6th, the board approved this driveway easement in substantially the same form we're presented, contingent upon legal review and incorporation of the required revisions. This approval request and the version that begins on page 14 reflect all of the legal review and changes. So I think you all recall the background on this. 5 property owners, more or less 20 years, paid every year to replace the gravel on this access driveway. So they're looking to take on the cost, do the permitting with the county, and go ahead and improve that. And as you recall, the houses for them anyway are backwards, or turned around backwards. The only access to them is on this little dirt driveway. So you'll see the summary of the key legal changes I put in there for those who are interested in what Richard Davis and I changed. But essentially that is what we're asking for today. Go ahead and approve that. We have all of the notarized copies of the easement, and they are at Richard Davis's office, just pending the board's approval, and then they will record it.
So the motion is move that the board of directors ratify the revocable easement for ingress and egress dated June 30th, 2025, attachment A, and authorize the general manager to execute and record the easement and direct staff to notify the grantees upon recording.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Any questions first?
Discussion.
Any discussion questions?
Yeah.
No?
I
I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand.
can't see
Go
it
ahead.
down there. So, one thing that's not spelled out in here, and I would assume they're gonna do this, who's bearing all the costs, including the attorney fees, which we definitely have, and the recording fees,
All 5 owners are splitting it.
but it doesn't spell it out in here. It says they pay for the maintenance and repair.
Correct, but they are bearing the cost of recording, the $250 to record.
But there's also attorney fees
What
that
about
have been,
legal fees? Yeah, I would see that.
that have been,
I'll have to ask Richard Davis to bill us separately, but if the board wishes, you can go ahead and table this, and we'll take it back again and revise it, but we'll have to have the documents all notarized again.
no, just stop. All you need to do is can you change just one thing in the recitals? The third, whereas the parties desire to formalize an easement for ingress and egress for the existing driveway. The driveway and that already crosses the burdened lot for the benefit of the benefited lots. According to the terms and conditions of this agreement, and shall bear all costs, including attorney and recording fees associated with the easement. Period.
So I am not qualified to revise the agreement. I'm not an attorney, and I would not recommend having me revise the agreement, Linda.
Whereas statements are the facts, not the terms. The terms of the conditions need to be in your therefore statements.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it has to be in the wherefores here, so that they're gonna pay for it.
The whereas statements are where you state the facts of the situation, not the terms of the agreement. The terms of the agreement need to be put in the,
terms and conditions number 2.
in the therefore statements.
Oh, all right, I see what you're saying, so somewhere it's gonna have to be added to that. There's also,
Number 2, the maintenance and repair under terms and conditions.
What are our terms?
Grantees are solely responsible for all costs of inspection, maintenance, improvement, repair, construction, or
Okay,
I'm saying, attorney's fees, you're right, it's not in there.
also in number 9, I don't understand, it says finding of fact, it says, this easement and all rights associated therewith shall be perpetual. And I understand that this is a revocable easement. So isn't that contrary to what's being said in one part of it, to say that it's now perpetual?
I can't answer that question, and I'm not an attorney.
I'm just saying, to me, we're saying two different things in here. We're saying that it's revocable. And
Yeah,
then in
I'm
another.
not an attorney, Linda, I would recommend that the board send this back to the attorney. I can't answer your question, I'm not an attorney,
Okay.
I'm sorry, with all due respect.
That's cool.
It's okay.
Any other questions or discussions? All right, this time, since we've already made the motion, we're gonna have to take a vote on it. So I think we all think it needs to be tabled and brought back, we need to go to the attorney, but we'll take a vote on it now. All in favor of passing it, approving? None? Okay, I'll make a motion that we table this item till we get further clarification from the attorney regarding the attorney fees and whether perpetual or revocable the difference is.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor? That's unanimous. Okay, moving on, request for revise the 2025 pool rules, page 27 in your handout. Michael?
Thank you, Mr. President. So the approval request here has gone through several iterations between the document review committee, Linda, Kyle, myself, as well as legal review, and the changes are in highlight on pages 29, 30, and 31. And you'll have a second motion coming up on page 32 for the revision of the quiet pool policy, which was a 2018 policy.
All right, so the motion is moved that the board of directors authorize the GM to implement the revised 2025 pool rules as presented, including updated standards for swim diaper usage and conduct expectations to ensure compliance with the Fair Housing Act and preserve the quiet nature of the quiet pool.
Second.
Thank you, Linda. Questions?
Discussion.
We have three of them. Melinda first.
No, not me first, let me
Okay,
go last.
Tom?
Yeah, I'm just wondering who monitors who's going in and out of the quiet pool? Because we seem to have it.
There's apparently a lady over there that does.
There's a lot of heat too.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of anger about going splashing and unsupervised young adults.
You want to address that? How we're going to try to make that more obvious or clearer to get a hold of someone if you have a complaint, who you would call or?
Yeah, currently, there is only control over people entering, right? They're gonna check to, as you enter wreck. But without assigning a staff member to the pool, it's gonna be self-report. And it's gonna be people who will need to, if they see something, they're gonna walk in and make a phone call to security, or they're gonna call rec. But without staffing it,
Would it be possible to have a staff member walk over there like every hour or so just to take a look, or is that impossible? I don't have those guys. I don't know.
anything's possible with the staffing, with the money, right? So,
Well, I'm gonna take away from maybe their current, whatever they're doing, if there's a couple of them sitting here, one walks over real quick, just takes a look, I don't know.
sure, no, we'll do whatever you think will work, but, you gotta be there all the time, for,
Is there a camera there?
That's what.
Yeah, there is.
yeah, but it's not like a casino, folks, we're not sitting there watching the card players. And you do establish a duty to protect if somebody drowns and they're on the camera. They're gonna say, you were monitoring the camera. We saw this a long time ago at the hotels. We're always invited, don't put cameras on your pools.
Interesting. Timing, and then I'll get to
Well, mine was basically the same kind of question about monitoring, and can we have some better phone numbers that we can get a hold of people quickly, because I'm hearing the same kind of thing. I mean, I'm hearing reports of people climbing the fence, cannonballs, there's all kinds of things that is just not quiet.
Jumping off the 88 left.
Yeah, I heard that one too, and that's just not okay. Kids should not, I mean, we have all these seniors who deserve to have some quiet time, not have this ridiculous behavior. There's a whole big pool for nonsense like that.
I'd recommend you post a lifeguard there, that's just like a good rain pool, and the lifeguard can handle two functions.
In the meantime, can we have some direct phone numbers that people can, rather than like, if you call security, the problem is you have to go on hold for a while, and then, then you finally get patched through, and then by the time you get a security person down there, basically the behaviors are over. And same thing with, rec, sometimes, phone's busy, or maybe have a couple direct phone numbers, so like there's an idiot down here, can someone come and help us?
Who would you like to have at the other end of the line?
I mean, that would be up to you, I think maybe as far as rec, maybe Kyle, his direct number, rather than going through the rec desk.
Sure.
I know you'd have to make that call, but.
Sure, what I was seeing though, to make sure that you have somebody who's always gonna answer the phone, you need to assign somebody to be the quiet pool overseer. And so if the pool is open at a time when there's no, or if the rec desk is busy and you don't pick up the phone and, guys, this kind of enforcement is, the way to enforce it is at the point of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And that's to have a lifeguard or have somebody there at the pool. We struggle with this at any of the resorts I've ever managed when you have unsupervised swimming pools. You just do. You've got to bite the bullet and spend the money and staff it and put a person in there. Otherwise, you're gonna have spotty enforcement. They're gonna wait till they see nobody's there. And then, again, if somebody calls, then we're creating another service failure. Somebody calls and we can't get to them in time, then we're gonna be blamed for not responding in time. I mean, it's just, you're setting everybody up for failure.
Okay, Rob.
So I have a question, a couple of comments. So from reading this, it looks like the concern is what's driving the change in the rule is there have been some people that are not unhappy that there are little kids wearing diapers in the quiet pool itself. Okay, and that's what's driving this. I saw something about adults that might be incontinent as well.
That's possible. So we're on two different subjects here, because one is how do we enforce the rules over here versus just updating our rules.
I got it, but I'm just trying to understand the scope of why we're changing them. So
we're changing the rules to comply with the FHA Fair Housing Act.
oh, that's cool. I'm just trying to understand what's drove us to decide, because I'm at the quiet pool a lot, and I just haven't seen that. There are some little kids in there, and I just haven't seen that. I don't know, I can't even think of a time I saw a kid in a diaper in a pool. Frankly.
Yeah, it's currently stated as a rule though, it says non-potty trained children
gotcha.
are not allowed, and
Right.
that's what the rule needs to be
Gotcha.
changed to coincide
Gotcha.
with the updated FHA rules.
Because from what I have seen, might be out of scope and you can rule me out of scope, but what I have seen is when it comes time for the rentals to occur, there are, without a lifeguard or somebody in rec to help communicate, there are people that think that they can tell everybody to leave at 4:30. I'm here to set up, you need to go now, it's my time to set up. There is a lot of misunderstanding about when am I to leave? Is it right at 5 o'clock? When is it?
Yeah.
And that's what I do see.
So anybody can be in the quiet pool all day long if they wanted to, but if they have it rented at night or whatever, and their time starts at 5 or 5:30, whatever it is, then everyone needs to vacate at that time. So in the meantime, they could be.
But what I'm saying is you need a lifeguard or staff there at this point in time because it's not clear. And that you may have seen something on social media because it was a polite conversation, but there was somebody who said, you guys all gotta leave, it's 4:30 and it's my time to set up. And those are why I'm agreeing with Michael. I don't have a vote, but I'm agreeing with Michael. We need to probably put somebody in that quiet pool for, at least for a season, maybe just to see how things go.
Well, we are getting off topic, because right now we're on the
I apologize.
upgrading the rules.
I fully
Updating the
apologize.
rules, and that's what we're talking about now, but I do believe we have a compliance issue as well.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so the motion on the table, oh, you have another comment? Sorry.
I didn't get my turn, I said I would wait till
Go for
last.
it.
I'm against this unless we can put someone in there that's gonna, we basically are turning, by allowing children in diapers, having no one in there to enforce the rules, we basically are changing a limited use facility into a general use pool, which requires lifeguards. And that's exactly what you're doing when you do this. Pool diapers that are pool diapers do not, in fact, they are less absorbent than regular diapers. They're just simply meant to control feces that a baby might do. Without somebody there, there'd be some moms that would be just appalled to think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to call somebody and tell them that my baby had to come over to the pool. So then you've got a pool that's a health violation because there's nobody there monitoring. You know, I think we need to be careful. Yes, we should have somebody there. I would like to point out that even in our last two or three financials we've gotten, rec's already over budget. So somehow they're gonna have to work that out with, because that is, and these months are before we've even added in any of the lifeguards. So I'm saying, until I know that we can put somebody in there that is gonna supervise it, I am against doing it. That or you separate the quiet pool from the main pool.
All right, so getting back to this.
Oh, Lori's got a comment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
Go ahead, Lori.
just clarifying comments that maybe Linda can clarify. So right now, as it stands, our general pool is a multi-use,
Is a,
is
yes,
general use,
yes, pool.
and the quiet pool is a limited use pool. Do the FHA rules apply to only general use pools or the general use facilities, or both general and limited use facilities?
All pools.
So even limited use. So if we change those rules, we are not necessarily turning the limited use pool into a, so do we really
Correct.
have a choice but to
We do
change the
not.
rules? Okay.
Yeah, so
It's not gonna
currently
affect
we
the
do allow children in the pool, just not potty trained.
Yeah, so it's
If
not
they're
gonna change
non-potty
the
trained,
responsibility.
they're
They're
not
gonna be
allowed.
able to, most everybody's gonna be able to use that pool. You know, even children, they have to be with an adult,
And all those same rules will still apply, so no splashing, no games, no water toys allowed, and things like that, all the same rules will apply. It won't discriminate against someone who is either adult that's incontinent, that has to wear some plastic surrounding or something, or a child, you know, a little kid.
Okay.
What rules will the quiet pool have that a hotel pool doesn't? The hotel pools don't have lifeguards ever, or staff monitoring them. In fact, it's probably, as Michael says, they probably ignore it as much as possible.
And they shut the pools twice a day.
So I don't understand how all of a sudden this would require and trigger the need for a lifeguard at the pool.
because there's
There's lots of
nobody,
pools that don't have lifeguards.
because there's nobody to basically enforce. You know, if a mother comes with a baby and the baby has an accident because they don't have them properly dressed according to this, you have an incident, which means you close the pool and everybody gets out and it stays shut for, I believe, at least 24 hours.
Yeah,
And
sure.
I'm saying, so you don't have anybody
But that
to.
can happen current.
No, if it happens here at the main pool, they immediately get people to leave the pool, leave the whole area, close down the pool. I think call in Sesco, and Sesco does what it needs to do, and the pool stays closed for 24 hours, 48 if they can't get it cleaned in 24. But a minimum of 24 hours.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The current existing conditions allow for what you're afraid of already. Any
But
any
if-
kid, I mean, not even a potty trained kid could have it, like a 4-year-old's gonna have an accident.
That's absolutely true, that's absolutely true.
And I don't see why it matters that much if a swim diaper doesn't absorb pee. We all know those kids are peeing in the pools.
Oh, I get that.
Even the adults are across the
It's a
water.
nice pool. It's how much water is.
In fact, one of my kids was like, out of the pool, was like, I need to go to the bathroom. One of the adults was like, oh my God, did he actually just ask to go to the bathroom? Like, get out of the pool to do it? Like,
That's true.
Yeah, the swing diaper and the waterproof covering I've had experience with. And the waterproof coverings, they do work. It's just like the new diapers that the kids can't pull off in the house. But at 2 of my previous communities, we also had some freebies that people show up and they don't have the appropriate swim diapers, we would sell them at a cost.
I mean, if the FHA rules require rules related to swim diapers, like, that makes sense or whatever, but like, I hear people stating opinions that say there's all these complaints, yet we have another person who's down there frequently saying he doesn't observe any of these complaints, like, but we have no actual data on these said complaints. And so we're making decisions to like staff things without any of the information actually, like we've gotten a couple emails, doesn't warrant necessarily wholesale changing the way we do things.
Does it matter in front of us whether or not we adjust our rules to become compliant with the FHA rules and regulations? It's not about enforcing or monitoring the pool, it's just what we're voting on,
Correct.
just to change the rules to make it
We're not adding any
in
staff.
alignment with FHA, okay.
This was in the
I know our
response.
discussion is going a little
Yeah, it's getting a little
right,
sidetracked,
but what we
so
are going to vote on is
we are-
simply the FHA
I'm gonna read it for us.
language.
All right, so I'm gonna read the motion one more time, and understand if you need to read it now, since you can, our council has reviewed this and directed us to make this change, to be in compliance, okay? I'm gonna read the motion one last time, just so it's all clear again. So move that the board of directors authorize the GM to implement the revised 2025 pool rules as presented, including updated standards for swim diaper usage and conduct expectations to ensure compliance with the Fair Housing Act and preserve the quiet nature of the quiet pool. It was motion by me, seconded by Linda. All in favor? Linda?
Against?
Against. All right, it passes by majority. All right, thank you very much. Moving on. Is approval request revised the 2025 quiet pool policy. Michael?
Yeah, Mr. President, I gave you an updated approval request memo,
Thank you.
but this is to, Tiny had pointed out, sent me the 2018 policy. So along with the pool rule revision, we do need to update this quiet pool policy. So on page 32 and 33 is the updated quiet pool policy, which is also stated in the pool rules that you just approved.
So what is updated part of it?
The, up starts on page 32 there, so it has this is the updated quiet pool policy.
Gotcha. 32. You good in there?
And so this supersedes 2018.02, and Tiny, you were the one that sent that to me. So all this does, again, is incorporates what the 2025 rules. So it shows the purpose to preserve a quiet, sanitary, inclusive swimming environment at the limited use quiet pool consistent with Washington Administrative Code, and that is the code section. The pool characteristics, limited use, no lifeguards, maximum occupancy 30 persons, 25 adults, 5 children at that ratio. No water games, loud play, amplified music, no use of toys, inflatables, recreational communication devices, alcohol permitted for those 21 and over, no food and drink in the water. Then here's the health and sanitation where we just mirror what was in the rule changes for incontinence control. And again, it's not singling out potty trained children, it's singling out any incontinent person. Diaper changing, that was in the old policy. and child safety, this is where we have to have, this came from the 2018 policy as well. Requires all minors under 18, there has to be an accompanying adult. Any children under 12, there has to be an authorized adult always and remain on the deck or in the water with them. And youth 13 to 17, at least 2 people have to be present in the facility. Children under 7 have to have an adult in the water with them. 1 adult may supervise and mentor with 2 children. So again, I understand Linda's concerns, who's gonna enforce this, but at least we do have to put the policy in and comply with FHA, and then we can work on enforcement, either self-reporting first and periodic checks, and then, again, I would recommend at some point in the future, if you continue to have behavioral issues, that you post somebody there.
Yeah. Okay, and so right now, the idea was to keep the quiet pool, right? We're allowing 2 children for 1 adult. 5 children max, 2 children for 1 adult. So I've heard there's been a story of some lady bringing 4 or 5 children in there and letting them go wild. That's not allowed, that's against the rules. What we would like to see, I guess, is maybe a bolder phone number or something and posting of the rules where it's clearly visible for the people entering the pool. Go ahead, you got a question, Rick?
No, I was just,
I didn't make a motion first, but I could.
raise a question about how effective a $25 fine would be. And maybe we ought to consider a higher fine.
Well, right, that's not bad. Maybe what we need to do is bring back to the board at our next meeting that we talk about signage, we talk about fine and fees, or fines for that. But we don't want this is just to go over the policy, so it wouldn't be part of this tonight.
Okay.
Go ahead, Linda.
One of the things that I don't understand about this, I forget the baby, is number 3 where it says youth between 13 and 17, at least 2 people must be present in the facility. If they can get in with a pass, with your card, they can, nobody's gonna, tell them, whoops, get out of there, there's no.
What does that mean, actually? At least 2 people must be present. Any 2 people or 2 people
Kyle,
18 plus older?
Yeah, well, Kyle pointed that out too, and it's captured up there in number 1.
Yeah.
Right?
If they have an 18-year-old.
18 or older, has to be with them.
I know Kyle pointed that out too. I just mirrored it from the previous policy. It's kind of ambiguous, but it's a double hit there too.
Okay.
So number 1 covers it. You gotta have somebody over 18 to be there.
And use 13 to 17, 1 person would be the youth and 1 person could be the adult, there's 2 people.
Can we just take number 3 out of there and simply encapsulate it all in the authorized adults will accompany all minors under 18 to ensure the minor's safety around water hazards? And just take out number 3.
That's an easy fix.
But we don't have
Because it's kind of odd, because you can have 1 adult with 2
anybody
kids.
over 12. From 12 to 18, you can't go in the pool. We don't-
Well, no, see, 13 to 17, they could go in the pool.
Yeah.
If they're 12 and under, they have to have an adult that must always remain on the deck or in the water with them. That's
And
what I'm
for
saying.
under 18,
Number 1 covers it.
Yeah, so can we remove, it's because it's so ambiguous.
I would remove number 3.
Yeah. That's the division, really.
It does.
Why do you need number 2?
Because there's number 1.
That's number 1, number 2, and 3.
Yeah, I had questions over this too. I copied it from the 2018.
Really, the only thing we have special requirements for is 7 and under, they need to be in the water with them.
But I interpret on the deck within a certain, I don't know what, I haven't been over there enough to know how wide that cement room is around.
They could be out on the grass, the parents could be out on the.
Right, so if they're over 8,
grass.
if they're under,
But not if they're under 12, right?
right,
They're
if they're
under
between
12.
12 and 18, they can be on the grass. If they're less than 12, then they need to be
On the deck,
on the deck,
Authorized to
12 and less, yeah.
just closer.
IDing these kids.
Somebody wrote this policy in 2018, and I was trying to tune it up to make it legal.
I think it covers it if you just take that out.
Keith, I
Yeah,
have
just
a
take
comment.
number 3 out.
Rob?
So, the last, in the quiet pool rules, the last section that's highlighted, the bullet number 4, no use of toys, inflatables, or recreational flotation devices. I think the intent there is, blow up unicorns and whatnot. But there are a number, every day you go into the quiet pool, there are a number of adults that use noodles, offering it for floating. Do we want to, so is a noodle that's assisting somebody who doesn't maybe walk too well, or somebody
No,
that's,
so a noodle to me isn't a recreational flotation device, it's a noodle, it's not a blow up. So it fits in a gray area if there isn't to me.
right?
That's how I
It
see
says
it.
no
I just-
recreational flotation devices. So a noodle would, based on your interpretation, would no longer be allowed.
But if they're just using it quietly to support themselves, they're not using it as a recreational.
To me, that's a float, a recreational, you're floating, like an actual float, like not in noodle.
They're using it for their health, not for playing with.
Toys and things.
Yeah, there's a neighbor that uses I think it's actually an aerobics float that she uses that, so I'm just wanting to make sure that we're all really clear what those rules are and,
I would say that's not recreational, that's more of a safety.
And I've never heard anyone have any complaints about really any of those issues at all myself.
yeah,
I didn't even see any.
when I've been down there, I've not seen, boy, when I saw Linda float around in a blow.
Excuse me,
I agree with Rob, it's completely unclear.
that's the.
You're all just using your feelings of the unclearness to make.
I can float really well without a noodle.
The way I read it is if you have a life-saving device, like if you have a child with a swim vest on, or an adult who doesn't swim who might have a life jacket on, that would not be recreational.
That would just be-
Anything that is not attached to your body is probably going to be considered a recreational float.
Yeah, I mean, it's just straight up says Coast Guard approved PFDs, like a noodle like that.
Right.
Yeah.
If we wanna make an exception for pool noodles, I think we should just say noodles excluded. But then.
Well, we're-
Stop it.
I have some children crying, grandma.
But then if an adult has a noodle, and then you've got 2 kids that have noodles and they're doing more fights and like that.
Yeah,
You don't wanna restrict the adults that
I've seen them
that
in
use
the
those
pool.
in place of a PDF.
Well, there's some people down there from Taco, and they're using them also as it's part of their physical therapy, so they're coming out of Grayville that has a pool, and they have a knee replacement, and so they're using the noodles to help stabilize them as they walk
I
out.
understand the need for them, but how do you say that? Unless you're using them for, you could say something like an exception will be made for when used as a medical aid.
Therapeutic.
As a therapeutic device.
I would make a motion that Michael and staff figure out a solution to this problem for us, because it's not our job to figure out the solution in this meeting.
that's a good.
Okay,
That's a
okay,
good
yeah.
suggestion they just came up with.
Second,
Yeah.
call the vote.
It's coming back to be revised.
Who did?
He did, I did.
Oh, I didn't hear it, sorry, I didn't hear it.
Let's have staff figure out a rewording of the policy.
All in favor of tabling? So we're gonna table the pool rules?
Or approve it.
Policy.
Well, we can
Policy.
approve it and still
Doodle exception.
let them figure out some language solutions or whatever.
For clarification?
Yeah, the noodle clarification. I put it right,
There's some sort of calm flotation devices, I don't know.
And all kidding aside, guys, all kidding aside, it's a real thing.
therapeutic, I kinda like that.
Yeah, I float around that big pool with my noodles, I would be upset if I didn't get that. I don't go to the quiet pool, but my kids are.
bless it so it doesn't come back. And.
Yeah, we'll bring it back on July 24th meeting.
We're gonna bring it
Do
back.
we have to bring it back over the new?
Yeah,
We changed.
Well, and we're
words
gonna change
in the-
that one
If we change
section
words in
about
the rules
safety.
and policy, yeah.
Because we agreed we were gonna take out number 3.
I mean, ideally, it won't take us 30 minutes to
Yeah.
get to hack and.
Come on, man.
all right, you got it? All in favor? Did we already vote on it?
We're gonna suspend and bring it back.
We're right there, we'll bring it back. All in favor? Great. All right. Chris, you'll move the majority. So that was table, that was, viable policy. All right, very good, moving on to new business. We're gonna, we have to do real quick. Okay, approve a request, SVCA Narcon Emergency Use Policy Approval, page 41 of your packet.
Okay, the reason I'm bringing this to the board, even though it's under $500 expense, is just to give the background. On June 10, rec staff encountered an individual with signs of opioid impairment. There was no overdose at the time. The incident highlighted potential risk of opiate-related emergencies. Washington state law permits lay persons, organizations to possess and administer naloxone without liability. And naloxone, if you administer it to somebody who is not having an opioid related respiratory or cardiac issue, it doesn't do anything. So, and you buy them at Walgreens and anybody can administer them. We would like to have them in our location. So deploying naloxone kits mitigates fatality risk, supports our duty of care, and demonstrates a proactive risk management approach. Costs are minimal. So that is our request. Kyle and I voted.
All right, I'm gonna read the motion. Move that the board of directors authorize the general manager to direct the purchase of Narcan kits for SVCA facilities, implement the naloxone emergency response policy and associated staff training, and expend up to $500 from the F 2025 operations budget.
Second.
Any questions?
Me.
Okay, Linda?
Isn't it writing? So why do we have the Area Z garden shed in there? We have no employees.
We're on a different run.
In the very first thing, it says purpose to request the board approval to purchase and deploy these kits to all SVCA staff public amenities. The community center, I get it. Pool, yes. Golf, yes. Turf care, yes. Welcome center, yes. Area Z garden shed, we have no employees over there.
No, this is not meant for employees. This is meant for anybody who, I expect employees aren't gonna be using heroin and fentanyl on the job.
But it talks
They
about
could.
staff training.
Well, the staff training is to train them how to administer the naloxone.
But I'm saying, we don't have any staff in the Area Z gardens or even in the Barview gardens.
Okay, no problem, that was suggested by Kyle, so.
What about, what, did they
What about
need
them?
Area Z? I mean, we have employees in Area Z.
In the maintenance area.
That's maintenance, then you would say, the Area Z maintenance area, not garden shed.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying possibility of.
I changed garden shed to maintenance.
Do we hold any risk or liability for not administering these things?
No, not at all.
So why do we want to do it?
It's the right thing to do. Might save somebody's life.
Hopefully we never have to use them, but.
I just have never, I've never seen like we don't have a county or anything.
We had a close one, no one should count. It was pretty close. The guy was, I saw him on the camera. He was, those of you who know heroin or fentanyl, he was nodded.
Yeah.
And they woke him up and got him moving, but. Yeah, so his respiratory rate was way down, and, you know, he could have gone, I don't know.
So is
That's the
the,
whole point of it, $35 to save somebody's life, that's cheap.
Yes.
The only thing is,
so
I was
what's,
looking,
go ahead.
if you go on to whatcomeoverdoseprevention.org, there's an online request form. And from what I'm seeing, we can qualify for free kits. I know it's not much money, but why not get free kits?
Sounds good.
Where is it?
WhatComeOverdosePrevention.org.
Sure, I'll give them.
There are 4 kits on the outdoor table at the library.
Yeah.
I mean, so they have access to them as well, and that was a big, training push 2-3 years ago when the fentanyl opioid crisis was peaking, to train public officials and a big push in librarians of all places,
I hate to bring up my previous life, but we didn't have Narcan when I was a cop.
right,
And I saw a lot of them, they just, heart stops and quit breathing.
yeah, it's usually respiratory arrest that they will reverse. And the other thing is, you do need 2 or 3, at least a couple of kits, because it only lasts, depending on how deep they are in the overdose, it only lasts a few minutes.
Right.
And then you gotta get that one.
Hopefully long enough to get them here.
And that one, yeah.
Thanks, Tommy. What was that URL again?
WhatComeOverdosePrevention.org. And if you look on there, there's an online request form, you should just be able to click it.
Thank you.
Could we also get the training from the fire department for free? Because it says that you have to have annual training.
No, that's just my recommendation. The instructions on the package is pretty straightforward. But I wanted, if we were gonna have employees administer it, I wanted them to know that, it's not a topical,
Right.
you don't rub it on their elbows,
Yeah.
you gotta tell them how to administer it. So it's pretty straightforward.
I could probably find someone who could do the training as well, because there was someone that was an instructor, and I'm sure he would come in and show employees my name, who's going.
You're just, no, it's this, it's nasal, it's a nasal spray.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
All right, guys.
This is my drugs, I'll show you how it works.
All right.
Moving on.
So, looks like we're gonna table this as well then, right? There's no point voting on this because he's going to check into WatchOverdosePrevention.org.
We're tabling again, okay.
Does
So we did make a motion, it was seconded.
Does it require approval?
We agree with them moving forward with the
Yeah.
project. We're just not gonna vote on this. We're gonna we'll vote on it, but I assume we're gonna table this because, or just, well, I think we should bring it back just to see the progress you made and what we're gonna do with it.
Well, is the only thing.
Can't we approve it and then,
Yeah, and so it's just the money?
We can, we'd have to approve, well, we're not allowing them to buy them, so we'd have to remove the money, right?
I'll be happy to.
He doesn't need our permission to buy it.
Out of my
Yeah,
own
he can still,
pocket.
he can
No, I mean,
still.
cost.
If we just
I
say,
know.
if we just say up to $500,
Yeah.
and if he gets it for free, it's still under $500.
Yeah. Let's do that.
I'll throw in a few too.
So the question would be, instead of talking about $500, we don't have to approve $500.
Yeah, I know.
I brought it to the board, I brought it to the board because I wanted you to be aware of what I was doing.
There's going everywhere, I think it's important that we
No, I think
make all the opportunity to hear it, so.
I think we can vote on this.
I think, yeah.
I think we can vote on
it,
this.
and as long as.
All right, well, like I said, it's already been motioned and seconded, so
So
we can
then,
vote.
all in favor?
So there you go, all in favor?
What is the motion?
Okay, I'll read it again. Move that the board of directors authorize the general manager to direct the purchase, okay, of Narcan kits for the SVCA facilities, implement the maximum emergency response policy associated with staff training, and expend, if we have to, up to $500 from the operations budget, 2025 operations budget.
Second,
All
again.
in favor?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay, AJ, you got that, abstain?
I got it.
We didn't do parks, so
Okay,
can't approve.
Majority.
We didn't look at.
it's approved by majority.
Ooh, if this, I'm gonna have to
All right.
this policy, but I will. Sorry.
I have a policy written for you as well.
Thank you.
Okay, on to item D, 7D, approve a request for Barn View Garden Club license renewal, page 43. Michael?
Thank you, Mr. President, and I do know that waiting patiently here, that is the Barnview Garden Manager. Yep. So did you want to speak to it before the board? I'll just read. In fact, the board has a copy of the renewal license, but the Barnview and Area Z licenses were rolled into one license process, and the 5-year term expired in February, and so Area Z and Barnview both came to originally Joanne and then to me. And so we had gone ahead and drawn up 2 separate license agreements, and that's the one that you have in front of you today. And this has no language in there for fiscal sponsorship or any of the controversial issues we had with Area Z.
Yeah, this is exactly as it was, no changes, no expansions, no nothing, is that correct?
The rules have changed slightly.
Okay.
To be a little bit more detailed, however, I was given information from Area Z that those were the original rules and they are not. And so I'm in favor of these rules, or we can go back to the 2020 rules, either way.
Do you know the difference between the 2020 and these rules?
These rules were, have you had a chance to look at
Yes.
them, Randy? Do you think
And they're what you're using now, correct?
these are the ones you supplied me?
Yes, but these are not the ones that we're using now, so I would answer 2 questions. Okay, so for Michael, yes, they're the ones that you supplied me. Linda, no, they're not the current ones we're using now. The ones that we're using now are much, much more simple.
That's what we should be looking at.
It's more complicated.
That's what we should be looking at. We've already said that they can't change them in any way without our approval.
I can read them to you, they're very simple. Would you like
That is something we need in writing that sits before us.
You change the club rules?
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Not a lease agreement, just the club rules, the addendum.
So Exhibit C,
Correct.
so that I would need, I'm sorry, to get a copy of that to them.
It says,
Yeah, those are the ones that you have put in the new ones, she's asking for the old ones.
Oh, okay, yes, so I did incorporate what you sent to me. So starting on 47, these are the rules.
Yes.
current rules.
No, the current, from the 2020 until the lease expired in February, are you talking about those rules?
I'm talking about if we approve this lease now, it says in there that these rules will apply
Yes.
and that they can't be changed
Correct.
without the association's approval.
Sounds
And
right.
that's why I'm saying, if you're using something different now, if this is gonna stay in place for 5 years in theory, we should have what you're really using right now.
Well, what we're operating under are the old rules. These rules have been sent out to the, every single member, and I've gotten no comments back.
So what are the rules you're currently using? How do they differ?
The rules that we initial every year?
Yes, how do they differ from this? This is the one you send out to each garden plot person?
Yeah, and you have to initial each one. They're much, much more simple.
Yes.
These ones are much more robust. And again, I was given information from areas that these were the rules that we were using, and they're not. The previous lease had those very simple rules that we initial every year. These ones are much more robust. They do have a really nice ecology statement, the substances that are not allowed, that was never detailed in the rules, and so now it's official, these are not, substances not allowed.
So yeah, we're all, yeah, go ahead, Stu.
Yeah, if we're looking at the new set of rules, we need the old set of rules in order for us to see the difference of between them before we can approve the new rules.
Great.
That's what Wendy was trying to say.
Yeah, right. No, I totally understand that, and I don't have paper copies of them.
I can bring them up on the screen right now. I mean, I have them, they're on the network drive. but
Would that be sufficient, Linda, since they are very simple?
If you want me to do a side-by-side comparison, I can do so and blackline them for the next meeting. If you want that level of
2 hours just to renew her license.
I know, oh, it's been since February.
Can you do it quickly?
Can I bring them up?
Yes.
Sure, I'll bring them up right now.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So, the rules that Mike was gonna bring up, and then we've got the rules that were presented to us in our packet. Which ones are you wanting to
The
go
ones
on?
that are in packet.
Okay, so we want to go the ones in packet. These are the same rules that were actually officially approved 5 years ago?
No.
No, okay, these will be officially.
These
So
were revised.
these ones will be your club members' initial every year then, moving forward?
Yes, sir. And like I said, if it's a huge hiccup, we'll go back to the 2020 rules, it's not a big deal.
Do these just more or less expand on the 2020 rules? So instead of
Yeah.
saying hazardous materials, it lists all the hazardous materials? Okay.
Yeah, these are way more.
Yeah, it's pretty,
There,
Robust.
yeah.
So is it
Treasure Valley Bar Review.
So is it just page 49 in my packet?
47
There it
and
is.
48.
Here it is.
47 and 48, I think what she is saying,
That's what
they no longer do.
No,
So these are the ones they do now.
This is what they do.
Here's the previous, right here on the screen.
Revised
Okay.
2025.
So these were from January 1 of 2020.
So this is what she hands out to everybody on the garden plot.
That's what they used to,
Used to.
not
Well, we
this
did it
year.
last year.
Mhm.
Yeah, last year, those were the rules we used.
So, January, this is what I sent out.
Yeah, so we've been trying to renew this since February.
Yeah.
And so these are, as you can see, number 10, all products should be applied must be organic. So there's a whole page on that one point here.
That's page 47, pretty much the same, listing everything you cannot use.
Right.
But see, it does include like salt, non-dish stuff, well, salt, let's see, non-dish stuff, I don't include that.
So you have on the 2020 rules.
On the dish soap is grounds for termination.
You have a total of 18 points. 18 rules, 2 pages. As Elena said, they're much simpler, the newer ones are a little more robust.
They're very specific.
And I'm sure that our garden members will be happy with either, considering I sent them out and haven't gotten any comments.
Guys, so these are much more stringent.
I'd say more detailed.
Yeah, more detailed,
It's more
necessarily more
detailed,
stringent,
really.
yeah.
There's also a little bit more on, like mediation of complaints. That was kind of nebulous before and now it's kind of like more dialed in.
So
Go ahead.
the first line, it says prohibited, and it says the following are grounds for immediate club membership termination. You mean the use of the following,
Probably, yes.
right? Yeah.
Does this kind of run on an honor system? Who manages what's being used?
It is an honor system, yes, sir.
Because with the location right next to the creek, we should get up with.
We'll post the lifeguard over there.
And any babies will have the diapers on.
Damage to the creek than the garden's doing.
Do you guys have any issues with this, with doing it this way, we're all.
If the rules that are in your packet are what are trying to be approved, then I guess I don't have any issues, but if it was a different set of rules, then I would. Okay, one's in our packet or what you got, yeah.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we approve the
Barn view club license,
lease agreement.
I don't think there is, they call it a license.
There is no motion. All right, so the motion is, here, write one real quick.
Let me do it.
Okay.
Motion, would like to
Is there a
make a
second?
motion to approve the Barnview Garden Club license from the date when it finally gets signed for a period of 5 years.
Second it. All in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So do we have
Thanks for
some?
bringing that on.
Oh, no.
We can't have to approve the new rules, instead we have to.
No, this is all part of
Yeah,
their,
they're
it's all part of the
all part of
package.
If they change it, if they decide to change it in midstream, let's say
They-
something happens that they
they
really
can
have to
try
change
to
it, then they have to come back to us, explain the change and report on it.
You're supposed to have a meeting.
Otherwise, we'll good to go for 5 years.
You happy?
The rules were an exhibit.
I'm very happy, thank you.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, they were part of the license.
We have plans to possibly expand, but of course that would come before this body before anything happens.
I think they need to find
We'll meet over there soon.
I need to think.
We'll meet over there soon to see
Yeah,
what
I'd love to see when they have the ball fields.
It's just worth mentioning that our waiting list is 40 people on it currently,
40 people.
40 people on the waiting list.
Well,
And we turn over 1 to 2 plots per year, so we're looking at a 20-year waiting list right now.
So you locate any more spots that you want to expand the garden?
We can add 4 more spots to the end, going kind of like towards it's a triangle. With the end cutoff, if we can extend that a little bit, we can add 4 more plots.
Yeah, look on this, 40 people, that's a lot.
Yeah,
I have a question.
yes.
Do deer like to eat peonies?
We have a fence. We have a fence, yeah, so we don't know.
Really?
Yes, they do like peonies though.
All right, what's next, President?
Thank you very much for your time, I appreciate you waiting.
Oh, no, thank you.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session.
Excuse me.
Need to make a motion to go into closed session, we have more business to take care of.
Move to go into closed session.
Second,
Who said that?
Right.
Rob,
Rob and I said second.
thank you. All right, we're moving into closed